Okay, in this section, we are going to talk about food properties beyond yin and yang. So remember that all foods are going to be cooling, neutral, or warming, but they're going to have other things that they do as well. So in this lecture, we're going to gain an understanding of using properties of food ingredients for things like resolving stagnation, draining damp, tonifying or strengthening qi, which is energy, building blood, and transforming phlegm. And we talked about those a little bit in the last hour. We'll dive into them a little bit deeper to really understand what those mean and what foods fall in those categories. So let's get going. All right. So stagnation, when qi, which is energy, and blood do not flow freely, then we have stagnation, which is a blockage or obstruction of energy flow. And so I like to think of a bruise as the definition of blood stagnation. So if you think about it, if you hit your arm or your leg on something and you get a big bruise, it swells, there's blood that pools there, it's not moving, it's tender to the touch, it turns blue or lavender or purple. And so when we have stagnation, we've got pain and we've probably have swelling, so it can be lumps, tumors, bumps, and usually we'll see a lavender color in the tongue, and the different areas of the tongue correspond to different areas of the body, so depending on where that lavender is showing up in the tongue, a lot of times that can show you where we have stagnation in the body. We also can get obstruction of blood and energy flow anywhere where we have a scar, so a post-surgical obstruction of energy flow through that scar area. We have a lot of forms of qi and blood stagnation in veterinary medicine. So trauma. Certainly an animal who's been hit by a car, an animal who got into a fight or fell, we can have areas of swelling, bruising, stagnation. Overuse or improper use of joints or muscles is where our chiropractic and acupuncture care can be really, really helpful for moving qi and blood stagnation. When we have spinal misalignment, we don't have good blood and nerve flow to the joints or to a certain area of the body, then we get improper use and the biomechanics are not going according to plan, and we'll start to see things like arthritis. So lack of exercise is a whole lot of stagnation going on if they're not moving. So when we're working and sitting all day, it's really critical that we get up and move every hour to get qi and blood circulating. Stress, frustration, and emotional upset certainly can lead to qi and blood stagnation. So again, animals who need a job and don't have one, animals who are left alone a lot, animals who are confined to small spaces. There's actually one study that showed that 90% of indoor cats deal with a high level of stress and frustration because they are not given the ability to hunt, to pounce, to capture their prey. They're not given the vertical exercise that cats need. Their climbing is a very important thing for them. And certainly dogs who are working breeds and are not given the opportunity to work, that frustration can lead to secondary stagnation, which leads to disease. Extreme heat or cold. So think about flowing water that you put in the freezer. It becomes an ice cube. That is now stagnant water. It has congealed. Excess consumption of cold food. Again, that coldness is going to slow down the energy flow. It's going to slow down the blood flow, and we get stagnation. And a lot of times when we get tumors later on down the line, we say, well, how did that happen? Well, we didn't have good blood flow and good energy flow through that area. It got stuck. It formed a lump. Qi and blood stagnation can occur in different organ systems and giving us different symptoms depending on which organ system is involved. And we're going to go through a few of those, and we'll usually see a bit of a purpley hue to the tongue. A lot of times the tongue will be a little bit swollen with rounded edges like this dog. So one of the most common that I see in practice and in consultations with clients is liver qi stagnation. So these animals may be showing hyperactivity or nervousness, excessive emotions, and aggression. So this is where I talked about earlier that we can really affect behavior by using a diet that is appropriate. So when we resolve the liver qi stagnation, we get it moving, we get those liver enzymes down, we get rid of that pain that they have up under the rib cage from the stagnation in the liver. A lot of times these animals will calm very well, and a lot of their excessive emotions will come way down. With liver qi stagnation, we can also get hypertension, so high blood pressure, and sensitivity. So a lot of these guys, they don't want to be touched right behind the rib cage or up under the rib cage. They're pretty uncomfortable. We can also have stomach qi stagnation, which is basically food that is sitting too long in the stomach. And these guys will feel full all the time because they still have the meal from 6 hours ago sitting there that hasn't moved through effectively. And what happens is it sits in there and ferments, and they feel full, but they also have a very, very foul breath. These animals may reflux a lot, they may burp a lot, or they may be regurging their food. So it's not a conscious vomiting. A lot of times it is just a regurg. The dog will be walking along and just kind of bleh and keep right on going. But the key to these, and I see it a lot in standard poodles, I also see it in the brachycephalic breeds a lot. So if we've got really foul breath without really bad teeth, they're not eating well, they're erping or lip licking a lot, this is one of the things that I would be looking for. Large intestine qi stagnation. So these are those fat cats that are eating dry food that end up getting impacted, have constipation, end up with megacolon. We can also see this with a gaseous colic, particularly in horses, and they have abdominal pain. They do not want their bellies squeezed because stagnation hurts, and particularly if they're impacted or constipated, what do we need to do here? We need to add moisture, we need to add some yin tonics, we need to add things to move that food and digested food through. So bony stagnation is arthritis, and with this, we know that arthritis is painful. We can have bone spurs, but it's qi and blood energy that are getting stuck in those joints. So they may be worse in cold. We usually think of arthritis as being worse in cold weather, but we have some who actually are worse in hot, humid weather. So we'll see bony stagnation with intervertebral disc disease, spondylosis, degenerative joint disease. These animals will be lethargic, mostly because they're painful. So we need to do things to move that stagnation and make them more comfortable. Blood stagnation, so we talked about that's like a bruise. It'll be painful. We'll have lumps or masses or swellings. We can have breathlessness if they're going into heart failure. If the heart energy is not pumping well enough, then the blood is becoming stagnant, pooling, backflowing. They will not be happy about massage if they've got a swelling in an area. They might be irritable. And with these, we will usually have the dark red or lavender tongue. So a lot of times with cancers, we've got blood stagnation. And so if you're seeing what I call that toxic red tongue, where it's a really dark red, you better be looking for what is going on inside. We'll see this very commonly. So herbs and foods that can help resolve stagnation, these are going to be the movers and shakers. So with our herbs, turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, hawthorn, coriander, dill seed, garlic, and parsley. And if you remember from our talk on yin and yang, most of these are very warming. And so this gets a little bit tricky because you may have an animal who is energetically very hot. They're panting, they're drinking a lot because they've got an inflammatory problem going on. Well, don't let that scare you from adding warming herbs to resolve stagnation, because we can still put the main part of our diet. We might use rabbit, which is cooling. We might use a whitefish, which is cooling, as our main part of the diet. But then we're going to put some of these herbs in to move that stagnation and make them less uncomfortable. So a lot of people use golden paste, which has turmeric and coconut oil and black pepper. All are warming, and it's so good for arthritis. And it's also really good for blood stagnation, circulation problems. So heart failure dogs, it's a really good thing to add in. Vegetables that can resolve stagnation: carrots, mustard greens, watercress, and radish. So we've got some warm, some cool. Fruits and miscellaneous. A lot of people use apple cider vinegar. I'm not a huge fan, but it is really good for resolving stagnation. And citrus peel. So a little bit of lemon zest or tangerine zest can be very helpful for stagnation. And proteins that are very good for resolving stagnation. Notice most of them are warming. We got chicken, lamb, and venison, which are all on the hot side, but crab is very cooling. So crab is going to make for an expensive and hard to balance meal by itself, but we could combine that with something else. And then gizzards, whether it's turkey gizzards, chicken gizzards, duck gizzards, can be very good for resolving stagnation. So they're really good for those animals with the stomach chi stagnation. Like treats like gizzards are the stomach basically of poultry. And by using those, they actually count as muscle meat and could be the main portion of the meal to keep the expenses down. So again, if we needed a more cooling diet, we could use duck gizzard. Neutral would be the turkey gizzard, and then warming would be our chicken gizzards. We want to, when we have an animal with stagnation, we want to avoid cold, damp foods. So while rabbit is cold, it's not very damp. It's actually a fairly drying meat. It doesn't have a lot of fat on it. So we still could get away with using that and then adding in things to resolve the stagnation. These animals, we need to avoid dairy because it tends to cause more stagnation, more phlegm production. Avoid refined sugars and carbohydrates. That's going to be dry kibble. So that's going to be one of the worst things that we could feed these animals. So if I have this problem, I really want to be looking at probably a gently cooked food, because a raw food is going to be energetically colder. So we do find that a lot of these animals that have stomach chi stagnation in particular are not going to do well with a raw diet. And even the liver chi stagnation, those sorts of things, a lot of times we need to gently cook or steam those diets in order to help get things moving and resolve that stagnation.